heard that said probably 10 times this weekend about being at 12 o'clock. And yeah, it's just a reality I came to over time. It took me a few years to, you know, in the beginning, you're just so in the trenches, you're so in the middle of the fight all the time. You're just trying to build your teams and help people succeed. And you get a bit protective of your downline because you view them as your children and they're a little more tender than you are. They haven't had as many battle scars as you've had. And, you know, you get on a three-way call and somebody's ignorant to them and you just want to rip their heads off, you know. But I've learned to just be patient and tell people, you know, I understand you're not at the right place. That's okay. We get it. You know, you're dealing from the place you're coming from now, and you just don't understand what we understand yet. But I'm confident if you were willing to put yourself in possession of the facts, you would see what we see. So be respectful to people. Treat them the way that you want to be treated. Do the business every day. This business changes so fast, you know, just the flavor of the business, the feel of the business, you know, the current way of describing the business. It just morphs all the time. It changes all the time. You know, that's why when I was in the game, I'm in the game, and I remember every July after coming back from the ranch and being out for a month, I thought, I don't even know the business anymore. I'm not even sure I know what to say anymore. Because I just knew how fast it was always moving and always changing, and, you know, just a different way to say things, a better way to explain things. And I have tried to do that every day. And when I would give presentations, I'd take somebody in the room that I trusted, the host or somebody, and say, okay, so let's not talk about what went well, let's talk about how I can improve. How do I make that better? How can we do this better? How can I say this better? And constantly trying to seek feedback to improve, to get those phrases so dialed in that they would connect with people's brains. And that was a long process. That was many, many years of trying to figure out how to say things, how to present the business, how to say it in a way that people could relate to it and get it and understand it. And that only comes by doing the business every day, answering objections. As I said yesterday, almost knowing what they're going to say before they say it, because you're so in tune with the business and where it's headed and what the conversation is that you're having with people. And if you only do the business one day a week, then your improvement, your rate of improvement is going to be really slow. And it's going to stretch out the time necessary for you to get the skill set that will be required of you to be a phenomenal leader. And if you can get feedback every day, or if you can get feedback every hour, or if you can get feedback every 15 minutes, then you massively accelerate your development as a leader, and you accelerate your skill set so that you literally are deadly. I mean, it's like I was talking about yesterday, you just get lethal. You are so good at the business and describing and explaining it and taking almost any circumstance and helping people to overcome whatever their blockage is, or they're not understanding about what it is. So that feedback loop is really critical. And the steeper you can make that, the faster things are going to happen in your business. And it doesn't mean you can't do it in 30 years, and you can if you do it probably a day a week. You probably can become a team lead over 30 years, but if you don't want to wait that long, you know, then just get it done, right? Get on it. I adopted these two words as the ending of my emails when I send emails to people. My tagline is consistency and focus. And I learned that a long, long time ago. I learned that at 15 years old when I wrote down my first goals of my life to lift more weight on the bench press and put more body weight on my bones. And so a lot of you have heard that story too many times, but it was a real learning time period in my life to learn about showing up every day, being consistent, being focused, jamming in as many calories as I could jam in, even against all the opposition of my father, and growing out of my clothes, and you know, trying to play college football and all those things. And you know, I've said it before, my dad was right. He said it's a stupid sport, you'll get hurt. He was right. Stupid sport, I got hurt, and I still feel it every day now. But I wouldn't trade those aches and pains for the lessons that I learned about consistency and focus, and you can do amazing, extraordinary things by just showing up. 99% of it's just showing up. Most people just can't show up. They can't show up consistently. And if you can just show up and show up consistently, I think of Jeff Zisselman. You know, I mean, this guy's one of my heroes because he's going through all this cancer treatment. The guy just keeps showing up. Like you can't make him not show up, you know? And that's so inspiring to me. I don't know if I could do that in his circumstances. And, you know, I've been blessed with pretty good energy and pretty good constitution. And Jeff's beyond that. So anyway, it's so important if you can just learn these things. We're all entrepreneurs in this room. That's why we're in this room. But you found it. This is the last stop on the train, guys. You don't need to go anyplace else.
Woo!
And it's time to put on the blinders and get focused. Do not look right, do not look left. Just keep your eyes laser focused on your goals and your objectives, and you will make it happen. This is something that has been critical for me over the last 30 years, you know, being involved in this company. Your body is what generates your life and your business, your happiness, your satisfaction. And, you know, I like scripture, so if you read in Romans, he said that your body's not your own. Your body's basically on loan to you to see how you'll do with it. And some people really abuse their bodies and ruin their bodies. And I believe we'll be held accountable for that at some point in the future. And so this miracle, this body, which has been called a temple of God, right? Which temple ye are, that's us, our bodies, is really a sacred trust. And it's not ours. We get to see what we make out of this. We have a responsibility to ourselves, take care of this body. And so, you know, these are things I've tried to do. I've not been perfect at them, but I've tried to do them. And I keep trying to do them. I keep trying to learn. Dan McCormick's been like this phenomenal coach all these years. You know, he's always so far ahead of everybody in terms of, you know, what's the latest trends and what's great for your body, what to eat, what not to do. And Kenton's helped me over the years with that. Charlie's been great. I say to Charlie, man, how do I get rid of this fat, like these love handle things, you know? Charlie's telling me how to take care of my body. So anyway, I've said this so many times and offended a lot of people, but if you smoke, knock it off right now. You know, that's just nothing that fits with who you are and what this business is and where you're going. Encourage everybody you can to stop that one habit. That'll probably kill you faster than anything, and it's a nasty, horrible habit. Most people don't want to do it anyway. Let's help them. Let's be supports to them. I've told a lot of people to stop smoking, and I learned to be respectful. In the beginning, I wasn't. You know, I was a militant anti-smoker, but I've learned to be a little more. I couldn't have done what Jeff did, riding with Clarence in the car, or whoever he was, right? Jack, smoking. Anyway, I always used to say, you know, sleep's for wimps. You can sleep when you're dead. You know, just keep working. But I've learned since that I was wrong. You really need a lot of sleep, and so this is one investment you got to make too. So I'm trying to do a lot better at this, and I'm trying to get my 7 hours consistently all the time now to see if I can remain healthy and so forth. Alcohol's a problem. Just is, you know. If you're spending a lot of time in a bar, it's probably not going to lead to a great place. So think about who you're associating with. Pick your friends. Pick people that will motivate you, push you forward. Pick people that want to go places in their life, people that are about doing good things, that are about helping, serving other people. They're not consuming it on themselves, consuming their own lusts. You know, try to find people that are thinking about other people and associate yourself with those people, and things will go much better in your life. And so take care of your body. Dan taught this to us. You know, leaders are readers, right? And I'm more like Alex. I haven't read that many books, right? It's a bad mistake. I need to do better at this. I've tried to read a lot of books. I start a lot of books, now I need to finish a lot of books. I've got a lot of books in my iPad, and I keep knocking a few off now, every now and again, but in the limited time I have given myself to try to get my act together every morning, I haven't had a lot of time to read things other than the scriptures. I've tried to stay focused on the scriptures because I just believe that that's probably the book with the longest history and the most wisdom. And so I thought that's probably the best place to spend my time. And so I tried to do that. And I believe that it will change you if you read that book. And I don't care if you're Muslim or Jews or anything else. Everybody believes in the first, 5 books of that book. And, if you go all the way through the rest of it, then you're probably a Christian, I guess, by the end of it. But the fact is that every book in there, is really powerful. There's so many lessons to learn about life and about human nature. And, it's not that history repeats itself. Human beings repeat the mistakes. That's the problem, right? And so we have to learn as human beings how to not repeat the same mistakes. And if you're smart, you'll learn from other people's mistakes instead of making yourself. And you'll go further and go faster that way. Multiple people have said this. This is something that I can't say it's 5 a.m. for me, but mostly it's 5:30 or 6. Just depends on what happened the day before. But there is magic in these morning hours. And if you're not doing this for yourself, this is something that will change your whole life, will change your whole future. And you've got to take this time, because the rest of the day gets really crazy. It gets really crazy as the day's going on. I remember so many days when, we're in momentum in different places, and I literally finish a call, and I put my phone down, and it rings. I literally have that many people calling me for calls, 3-ways, whatever it was in the beginning, that I literally couldn't even dial out. I'd hang up the phone and ring. Hang it up from the next one and ring. Hang up the next one and ring. You're going to make money when it's happening like that, right? And the same thing happened, opening of Japan. I think it was weeks without any real sleep. I'd wake up in the morning, the entire roll on the fax machine was laying on my floor of my room. People trying to get messages to me to run out. I put another roll in, it spit out another half a roll. Just hundreds of messages. And so life will get really crazy at times when you're really engaged, you're really in the game. And you've got to have this time to collect yourself in the morning and reconnect and get that wisdom Dan was talking about. Seek for that in your life. Shut everything off. No connection. Don't be doing emails, texts, WhatsApp. Just forget it all. Social media, drop it all, right? No electronics. Put your hands on some paper. Get your pen, get your pencil. Start writing down the thoughts you get. That's God trying to communicate to you through the power of His Spirit. He's trying to teach you something. And you have to learn to listen to that, because that will guide you in your life and help you know what to do with your family, with your children, with your spouse, with your front line, with your siblings, your parents. It'll teach you. I remember after doing this, and I would get in the shower, and I've said many times, a lot of my best ideas come in the shower. And I'm convinced it's because I've been thinking about them all night. I've crystallized things in the morning, going through a little bit of quiet time, and all of a sudden, bam, here comes the inspiration. And it just is like, oh, that's the answer. That's what I've got to do. That's where we need to go. And so that's how it works. Emma talked about this already today. Red time, green time, yellow time. And you got to decide when those times are for you. I don't think they're the same for everybody. Everybody may have a different time when it's green time, and it's the most productive time for you to be engaged in your business. And you've got to learn to prioritize when that time is. And don't spend red time activities in green time. You should be working, right? And there's only one thing we have to do. This business is really, really simple, right? There's only one thing that you and I have to do. What's that one thing? Recruit. That's it. That's who we are. We recruit, guys. We recruit customers, we recruit distributors, and build leaders. That's it. If you ever get confused about what this business is, don't ever forget. It's one thing. You're here to recruit. You're a recruiter. Learn to love it. Learn to love people. Learn to talk to everybody. Learn to get into conversations. Just get into conversations. You don't have to recruit them. You don't have to pitch them. Just listen to them. Just be interested in people. My experience is you can't talk to somebody for 4 or 5 minutes before they open the door this wide and say, walk in and tell me your business. You know, because something's wrong in their life. Remember, half the people are in serious trouble. Everybody you're talking to has problems, right? And they need it. They need more money, they need more time, they need some relief in their life, they need a companion, a friend, they need to believe in themselves, they need to have hope and faith, they need to have some dreams again. And so, you know, be aware of that and just talk to people and just be willing and open to help people. And it'll be a lot more natural. You don't have to be stressing about it all the time. Like, what am I going to say? People say all the time, what do I say to people? You're asking the wrong question. It's how do you get yourself so committed to it that you know where you're going, that people can sense your energy more than they sense any words you say. You know? It's that how you say it more than the words you say, because of where you have put yourself. You're in this place now where you're ready to really build, you're ready to recruit, and people can sense that. And I believe God will connect you with those people. And I used to just, I still do, right? Every morning, I had a guy tell me one time, take a brick and put the brick under the pillow on your bed. So if you jump in bed and you don't say your prayers, when your head hits the pillow, you'll remember what you forgot to do. Uh-oh. Take the brick out from underneath your pillow and put it right by the side of your bed. And after you wake up in the morning, when you jump out of bed, you'll smack your toe on the brick. And you'll remember it's time to kneel down and say your morning prayers before you go out and try to conquer the world. And just keep moving that brick until you build that habit. And I just would beg Heavenly Father to help me find the right people. I had to have them. I had 3 little girls, under 5, beautiful wife, starting a brand new business, didn't know how it was going to happen, who it was going to happen with, but begging, pleading, trying to do the right things, trying to take care of my family. Help me find them. So be grateful. I thought it was great. Who talked about the gratitude journal? I forget. There's been so many. You haven't talked about that. Yeah, it was so good, right? Talk about count your blessings. Just start writing them down. Be grateful for all these things that we all have. We all are so blessed. We all are so well off compared to most people in this world. And we should be sharing the gifts that we have and the things that we have, and be grateful and verbalize your gratitude. Kenton has taught me this over the years. He always, every time I talk to him, he's expressing his gratitude. Thank you. So, there's part of the family. We've got some new ones now. But that's up at our happy place, up at the one property that we'll never sell as long as I'm alive. Maybe the kids will ditch it once I'm gone, but I'm so glad it didn't burn down, because there's so many memories out there. As I mentioned, we were just blessed with our 11th grandchild, and number 12's in the oven, and that's a hard time. The daughter is really struggling right now with just trying to feel well enough to eat, drink, and the pains that respect I have for all of you women for what it takes to bring children here. It's not easy. So they're precious, and I hope that you love your family as much as I love mine. Anyway, thank you so much. You guys are doing great. We'll see you all very soon someplace I'm sure.
Wait, Nathan, you have a message from your mother-in-law. For those of you that are new here and don't know, Clara is the founding distributor for Nu Skin.
Retirement, Nathan? Who are you kidding?